Courage and the boldness that you gain after speaking affirmations over yourself. The more you hear it, the more you believe that it's true.
And welcome to Premier Fitness. I'm Gene Williams, your yoga instructor, and I'm here to tell you about the benefits of yoga.
Hey, thank you for joining us and thank you for tuning in to Where is the Love? I am your host. I am Stephanie Hawkenhall. Joining me is my son, Gene Williams.
I'll be the co-host, man. I'll be the co-host.
Hey!
Hey, this is Gene finally awake. Let the energy drink kick in.
Oh, shoot. I'm messing up. I'm trying to make something work. If you are here, you should be seeing us. You can join us on Roku. You can also join us on Amazon Fire. I hope I did it right. You can also join us on Amazon Fire. Just search POD TV, space LIVE, and watch us on Pod TV live, and you can see us on TV. Otherwise, you can watch us and tune in to our YouTube channels, Love Misunderstood Institute or Premier Fitness 0210. So we are trying to get our devices together and share. So if you joined us last month, or if you missed it, go back and watch our episodes for last month. We had 3 episodes where we had guests on our show, and they were returning guests. By the way, April we celebrated 2 years of doing our TV show. So we celebrated the entire month. Our celebration date is, I think, April 3rd, but we celebrated the entire month. So we brought guests back to tell us, hey, how has things been since you were on our show the first time? What kind of bullying experiences have you experienced? Have you been more aware of bullying in your life since you were on our show? So that's the kind of conversation that we had. So that was for 3 episodes, the last 3 episodes. So 79, 80, and 81. So go back and check out those channels. So one of the things about, go ahead.
I want to say that another thing that we talked about on the last show, we kind of with the illustrious guests that we had, they gave us an update of where their business is and where their life is at this time since the first time they've been on the show. So we've had a lot of great guests, and there was a lot of great updates and a lot of people making moves, a lot of Black excellence. Shows,
yes.
And just a lot of spiritual, mental, and emotional growth. So it's been a great month of celebration.
Yes, it was fantastic. So again, go back and view those shows and listen to what's been happening. So we wanted to know if we have made a difference in the lives of the guests who have came on the show, if we made a difference in educating them about bullying and then the awareness. And so they shared that the awareness of bullying really helped them. I don't know if Mark, can you hear that? It's like a whooshing sound.
That's probably me.
Okay.
What about now?
Yep, that's what it was.
Okay. It's hot in here.
I'm sorry. We'll make it quick. This hour will go by quick.
Woo, Lord.
He cooking over there,
You
y'all.
know, oh Lord, I'm sweltering, Lord.
So we've talked about a number of subjects within these last 2 years, and we brought it together with bullying, um, and and shared, like I said, so much information. And today we are going to share most of my experiences with bullying has been in the workplace. So today we are going to Gene, you see the comment thought Gene
Uh,
was prepared with the church fans.
yeah.
So, oh Lord.
That's an old church woman doing pull your shirt out. Ooh, snap.
So, today we are talking about withholding information in the workplace. That has happened to me. Like I said, so much of what I have experienced in the workplace, or so much of my bullying was in the workplace. And so we're going to be tackling this subject today. And so you want to say anything, son?
No, but just kind of looking over what we have here is like not only do these tactics work in bullying tactics transpire in the workplace, they also transpire in life. You know,
Yes,
this bleeds
absolutely.
over. This
Yes,
bleeds over into everyday life, y'all.
yep. So since I've been talking, you want to start?
Okay. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to identify workplace bullying tactics. Workplace bullying can be identified based on three main factors: the harm inflicted on and expressed by a target, the pattern of behavior by the bully, and an intent behind that behavior. Gatekeeping, which is this is the term I was talking about, bleeds over. I'm going to read that. I saw it. I was like, ooh, okay. So,
Yeah, it blew my mind when I read it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So gatekeeping is a common workplace bullying tactic, and again, this works in real life. So pay attention to the details. Gatekeeping is the activity of controlling and usually limiting general access to something. Gatekeeping of informational resources. A lot of times, the bullies rank above the target in the organizational structure and has the influence that they need to withhold information. Say there's an important meeting and they conveniently forget to invite you to that meeting. Or maybe you need to contact some external individual that can help you make a project move forward. Maybe they can give you maybe they give you false information or make you go hunting for something. Or also in life, they withhold important information from you that's needed for all, and they keep information from you just because they know it'll get under your skin.
Yes.
It's also called icing out.
Yes.
Narc
Absolutely.
move, narc move. Gonna have to get a narc flag, narc flag.
Yep.
Man, the five different levels are: level one, the individual level; number two, the communication routines level; the third level is the organizational level; number four is the social institutional level; and number five is the social system level. So, another form of bullying, should I say, that is very prevalent in the workplace bullying as well as, again, life, is social bullying. So, bullying is excluding from groups or sharing information important to you or for you, ignoring or leaving someone out on purpose. Did you know that your child, she's a triple yellow belt in karate? Really, I didn't know that.
You so silly.
Girl, you bad. Girl, you a triple yellow belt. That's how I found out about it. That's how I found out. Like, oh, you gonna throw it from my face? Okay. Marie. Embarrassing someone in public, telling lies, or stories about someone to make others not like them. Does that not sound familiar, guys?
Yep.
Does it not sound familiar?
Yep.
You know, and that's a tactic of a person who is mentally and emotionally weak
Messed
and
up.
fragile.
Yep.
Weak and fragile. A person who is very confident in themselves does not have to withhold information, does not have to tell stories about someone else to make other people not like them so they feel better. A rule of thumbs, good people. If you have to do something to make some, if you have to do something to hurt someone to make you feel better, you need help. That's the
Yeah.
first step to knowing that you need help. Because making someone else miserable to make you happy should not make you happy. Should make you
Yep.
feel like crap. Should make you feel like crap. If you have feelings, I mean, sociopaths and psychopaths have no care about other people's feelings. But if you have any, even an iota of empathy in yourself, then making someone else miserable should make you miserable.
Yep. So I want to add something. From what you just shared. Like I said, I've experienced a lot of workplace bullying, and that's mostly where I experienced it at, is in the workplace. I've experienced it in relationships and in church as well. But one thing that happened in the workplace with me is that I I was a volunteer coordinator at a job, and so I thought of a good idea to bring people into, to draw people to our company. And so what I did is shared the information with my boss at the time and told her, this is a good way for us to bring people here. So let's try this. So what she did is she started planning that event that I brought up. She started planning it with the marketers, didn't tell me anything
Right.
about it. And so it was like about a month before it actually happened. So they kept having these secret meetings and I didn't know what they were about. And then it was a few days or maybe a week before the actual event that I found out that they were doing that. And so they took my idea and used it and made it their own
Right.
and didn't even tell me about it, didn't invite me to it. And so I found out about it. And so what I did is I had a volunteer that was very close to me that, volunteered a lot with me. And so I asked her, I said, hey, I told her, and she saw a lot of the bullying they were doing to me in the workplace. So
Yeah.
I said, hey, I didn't tell them this. So what it was is at our table, I said, let's have games at our table, and this will draw a game, and this will draw people to our table. So we didn't say anything about that. We just set up our table and set up the game, and then it drew a lot of people to our table, just like
Right.
I said. And so we had prizes as well, but that's something that they didn't do because I didn't share that part of it. But I mean, can you imagine how that feels to plan something or to come up with an idea and somebody else take your idea and use it as their own and don't even mention you? Well, I'm not the only person that has happened to. That has
Okay.
happened to many, many, many people in the world.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that incident because they left me out of the meetings, didn't share the information with me, but I added, like I said, an additional piece to draw, people. So I just wanted to add that. So um, and I'll let you share this. So how can you respond? Did you want to say something?
Well, I can tell my story later.
No,
Because
go ahead. Nope,
well,
go
my
ahead.
story, my story is it was actually one of the jobs I loved very much. I was working at a pretty decent sized company. I was right up under the director for the athletics ministry at this company, and now I didn't have a degree, but all of my certifications equal to a degree plus in my experience. So when it came to creating effective programs to not only bring in but maintain clientele and present classes that would keep people interested. This person would call me in the office once a week and pick my brain, and they'd be like, "Okay, so this works. Let's do this. Now you do it." But then when it comes to like giving credit for who did the work, I never got any credit whatsoever.
Yeah.
And they started making a list of things that I suggested and trying to do them. And it's like, you can't do them without, because like you said, there's more information behind it.
Yes.
This is just the frame, right? This is the husk. This is the husk of it all. There's
Right.
more juices on the inside.
Yeah.
So after a while, he got called up to review by his the owner of the company because of this. You know, the workers spoke out. Unfortunately, it turned negative because I ended up getting fired over some BS. But that's how it goes. Like if they can't come up, because his expertise was in business, but not fitness related business.
Yeah.
And fitness is my baby. So
yeah.
You know, anything pertaining to fitness, I read and research about the business aspect of it as well as the applicable parts where, you know, helps you lose weight and things of that nature. So,
right.
You know, he took it and he used it against me, and then gonna flip my terms and added someone else's information in there because we had a person who wrote an angry letter to the owner, and he assumed it was me. He assumed that it was me, and they fired me. I'm like, I didn't write that. And then about a month after they fired me, we found out who it was, which I knew who it was. I just wasn't going to snitch.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy how that happens. But, you know, people, you know, want to look good. So they're not going to help you look good. They just going to steal your ideas. And that doesn't happen. Well, it happens often.
Yeah. Thomas Edison. Sorry. Thomas Edison.
Yep.
Thomas Edison.
And not only... Did you say Thomas Edison?
I think I said Thomas Edison.
That's just one of many that had his ideas stolen.
Well, he was stealing ideas. He was stealing ideas from black scientists. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So, how to respond when you're left out of important meetings. 7 tips to handle being excluded from meetings. Gene, you can do those.
All right. So number 1 is look for explanations first. Number 2 is be honest about your situation and feelings. Number 3 is interact more with your coworkers. Be sure. Number 4 is be sure that your involvement would be valuable. Number 5 is go to your manager. Number 6 is reflect on the situation again. And then finally, number 7, stay neutral no matter what.
So I want to say something here. We never know what somebody is going through or what somebody is experiencing. So, you know, sometimes it may be a legit reason as to why you're left out of the meeting. So instead of jumping to conclusions and being in attack mode, these are, you know, 7 of the tips that can help you, you know, to pull back, you know, and as we say, you know, breathe, take a breath, you know, and don't just jump out on the person because you don't know what's going on all the time. You know, things are not always as they appear.
Right. Yep. And making assumptions actually creates more drama and chaos than it helps.
Yep. So, you want to add something else?
Yeah. So another thing that I think could be added though is record all the facts. We talk about, you know, documentation all the time. Record the facts, the time, the incident, the people, all of that. Make sure that you keep excellent notes about your situation, because excuse me, because that shows a record. It shows a paper trail.
Yep.
And paper trails are admissible in court. So you can literally take this information that you have recorded. I mean, I'm doing it, so I know. but
Yeah.
but yeah, you keep that information, and it, like I said, it creates a line of action from one point to another, uh, and 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 judges follow that. You know, it's respected. Um,
Yep.
so take notes. Take notes. Ask questions, like you said, but take notes. Impeccable
Yep.
notes. Make sure you keep those notes. If you can't write it down somewhere, there's a notes on your phone. Pull that notes up. Document the day, the time, and the incident, and keep it
Yep.
on you.
I'm glad you just added the date and the time because I was going to add that when you got
Yeah.
finished.
Yeah.
Because, like you brought up about the judge, that's valuable information to the judge. Oh, they have the time and the date. So this really, you know, more than
Well,
likely really happened.
right.
So, take for example the employee break room. While it's a place for relaxation, it can also become a site for exclusion, where someone is left out of office conversations or sits alone feeling unwelcome. This persistent exclusion is a form of workplace bullying, even to the extent of complete social ostracism. Um, so I want to share something else. I been in the workplace, like I said, I have bullied, most of my have experienced most of my bullying in the workplace. So since COVID, and I did this before, but even more now. But since COVID, I sit in my car on my breaks and on my lunch hour. I like to sit by myself because during work, all kind of things are being done and said, and some of it I don't agree with. So I don't express my opinions about it, and some of it is just people's personality
Right.
conflicts and stuff like that.
Right.
My lunch hour and my break time are my peaceful times where I go and I sit in my car and do whatever I want, whether it's look on my phone or whatever I choose to do in my car. That's my peaceful place. I started doing it during COVID. And before that, part of the reason I was bullied a lot at work is because I was always reading something. So whether it was my Bible or whether it was, different books from inspirational books. So on my breaks and on my lunch hours, and I've been doing this since my kids were small, I would always go find a place off by myself, even maybe in the break room, off by myself to read. And so, I was called weird. And why do you always sit by yourself? And because I don't want to be bothered with y'all.
Because I like my own.
Right. And I mean, I've been dealing with y'all during the work hour and y'all talking stuff I don't want to hear, whether it's gossiping about other people or what have you. And I don't want to deal with that. So now this is my break time, and I spend my break time however I want. And I choose to spend it alone. So I just wanted to add that since we were talking about being in a place by yourself or off to the side in the break room, but like I said, I just get away from everybody and go to my car, and that's my safe space, safe place to regroup my mind from whatever was transpiring, in the workplace during the work hours.
Right.
um, so I just wanted to add that.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I'm the same way. I would either go to my car or just leave and go home if my job was close enough. Or
Yeah.
I drive around. I mean, because they already doing a lot of talking during the work, so you know that when they got time to just talk trash,
Yep.
they gonna go in. And I don't
Yep.
want to hear that.
Yep.
I
I
got
don't
enough
either.
drama and chaos at home. I'm good.
Yep. Yep.
Need no one's extra. Yeah.
Right. And that's me.
Yeah.
So I'll let you do the next part
Okay.
unless you have something else to add.
No. Let's go in. All
Okay.
right. So imagine this: you're at the weekly brainstorming meeting with your team. Every time you share an idea, your boss brushes it aside or gives you a cursory nod and moves ahead without any real reaction. Or worse, you share a concept, your boss ignores it, and then minutes later, your colleague shares the same idea, and your boss congratulates them on their great suggestion. Boy, You leave the room feeling neglected and disrespected. Being in a situation where your boss ignores you or disrespects you is not fun. And over time, it can negatively impact your self esteem, your mental well being, and your job. So, what do if you feel like your boss is avoiding you and sidelining your ideas, especially if the shift is sudden? All right, so number one, challenge your perspective. Before you make any significant conclusions about why your boss is behaving the way they are, ask yourself if their behavior towards you is consistent or if it has recently changed. It's worth checking to see if others on the team are feeling the same way.
So let me interject. So evaluating the situation, pulling back and
Right,
evaluating the situation from a different perspective.
right,
That's why it's challenge your perspective.
right,
Because again, things are not always as they appear. What's going on with this person? You
right.
know, sometimes things are going on with us outside of, you know,
Work.
yeah, outside of work. And we, you know, consciously or unconsciously bring it to work. And so our reactions and interactions with people are tough, you know, or I'll just say are tough, you know,
Right.
say that again.
I said strained.
Yeah, because we don't know how to, our mind is somewhere else.
Right.
So because our mind is somewhere else, we're not responding the right way or we're not reacting the right way to a situation. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, something that you get in the four agreements is that the first thing is take nothing personal. So again, by challenging your perspective, you're actually using that. You're taking a step back from taking it personal, realizing that this could be either they have an issue or it could be something with work. Either way, it's not personal.
Yep. And I was just telling Liddell that while we were, you know, having lunch today that, you know, it's I'm for me to, you know, be in a place where I don't take things personal anymore.
Yeah.
And that was a place and a space that I was in for many, 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 many years.
One more minute. One more minute.
Many. Many, many. For many years. And so I cried a lot. My response was crying a lot. Maybe I didn't cry and most of the time, how many?
Right.
Mark said, how many? Right.
5 minutes.
So so I didn't know how to respond to people. So I didn't cry in front of people, but I would go home and cry for, and I've said this many times. I would go home and cry for days, weeks, months, you know, because I didn't have the courage to use my voice to speak to that person or to that situation or about the situation. So that was how I handled it. And so I was telling him now, you know, I'm finally at the place. And he said, oh, I remember. And I
Right.
said, yeah. And I said, now I'm finally at the place where I don't anymore. And I don't care whether people like me or what they think about me. That happened to me. Um, what part happened to you, Danica? If you don't mind putting it up there. So,
And don't
so,
be texting and driving.
uh-oh. Oh,
I'll beat you.
somebody in trouble. So anyway, it's I feel so much better and I was telling him I have so much more peace now because you know if you don't like me, if you don't want to deal with me, you know, hey, that's you. That don't have nothing to do with me. So I've learned finally how to take things personal, not take things personal, and I've learned how to encourage myself so that I can speak up and say what needs to be said. And sometimes the things that you want to say don't need to be said. Some people, well, I'm going to say what I feel. I'm going to keep it 100. Uh, Well, keep it
Time and
100
place.
if that's what you want to do. But watch how you treat people. Because if you're not treating people and talking to people, watch how you treat people.
There you go.
Watch how you treat people. That's for y'all in the back that didn't hear me the first time back
I
there by
was
that
gonna say,
piano.
you got hey. Watch how you treat people.
So anyway, it feels great to be able to speak up and to speak, in a tone to people that's not damaging to them and that's respectful. We just got through talking about respect. So anyway, I just wanted to add that. I just rambled a little bit, but challenging your perspective and other people's perspective, because you don't know. So don't be so quick to jump on somebody and say what you want to say and say it the way you want to say. Can we all just get along? Can we just love one another, love ourselves and love others? I mean, can't we? Where's the love?
Can we all just get along?
Where is the love? That's the name of the show, and that's why we do this show. Finding the love. Where's the love? It ain't in that reacting that way. Okay, I'm done.
You sure?
I'm done.
I go now.
Yeah, double dutch.
Good? Oh, okay, all right.
Mark said they were playing the piano. Bet they heard you now. Right? I ain't who I used to be.
All right, so next, and this is a very important next level to this. So after you challenge your own perspective, you initiate a conversation with the person.
Yep.
Sometimes the best way is to have a direct conversation. Shying away from this type of conversation may, on the surface, appear to be the easy option, but by avoiding the conversation, you miss the opportunity to deepen and strengthen your relationship with your boss.
I want to say something, interject something else.
Yeah.
So, on my job Friday, one of the leads said something that what he said is, y'all, he said, we all work. He said, we work this job 40 hours a week. And when you don't like somebody, you know, deal with that and come to us, so we can help you. But we are here 40 hours a week to deal with each other for 40 hours a week. So let's try to get along.
Yep.
And I was like, say that because it needed to be said. So it just helps when when we all understand we're here to do a job together to, have a great outcome. We're not here to cause controversy and conflict in the workplace. We're here working as a team to get whatever the job is done.
Right.
So it makes it so much easier when you are not quick to jump on something that's, maybe not even the way you think it is. And then when you're able to communicate and initiate a conversation, in a peaceful manner. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, and I want to say that it takes maturity to
Yes.
address a person directly. Anyone can make an assumption and avoid a person because they assume something.
Yep.
The best thing to do is address it directly, like it says here. And that way you let it be known that you care, because it takes a person who's mature and who cares to even come to you with
Yes.
an issue.
Yeah.
Two, you discussing it, it reveals that person's perspective.
Yeah.
You may find out that this has absolutely nothing to do with me. Even though it feels personal, it's not personal at all. Or
Yeah.
it could be, okay, there's an issue, there's a tweak that you can make that your boss want, and that conversation brought that knowledge to you. But if you don't ask questions, if you're not mature enough to initiate the conversation that brings clarity, then you'll never get there. You'll always be in a state of, in essence, walking on eggshells because you never know what you're going to get because you're making assumptions and basing your actions off of assumptions, which creates a vicious loop, of confusion.
Yeah. Yeah. So the next thing is work on mending the relationship. Continue to look for opportunities to demonstrate your value and make yourself visible. As you work through this, it is crucial to not ruminate about your relationship with your boss or gossip and moan to colleagues about it. It will only hurt you in the long run.
Yep.
People will always, as a way to hurt you, remind you of something that you said that will hurt you even more. So they'll always, more than likely, bring up something to, dang it, it was right there on my tongue, um, to use whatever it is you said against you. So
Right.
if you're having problems at home and you bring it to work and you,
Ammunition.
yep, exactly. So you talk about it, and so at the time that you hurt this person or make them unhappy about something, then they'll, to injure you further, they will bring up your personal issue, to, like I said, to further hurt you, to further inflict pain on you. So it's,
And further their position.
say that again.
And further their position. They'll use that information as a bargaining chip to help them further their position.
Yeah. So be careful, with that. So you want to do the next part, or you want to add something?
Yeah, I would say, like you said, kind of to buttress it all. Um, don't speak negatively about anyone for that matter, especially your
Yep.
boss, the other coworkers, because again, you make yourself vulnerable to those words being twisted against you, and you end up in a position where you're either stressed out or you have no job. So when you have gripes, keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Definitely do not talk to people at work about it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it
Yeah.
because no matter how much they seem to be cool, they could be the very person to set you up. The kind of, hey, how you doing today? That's the very person that's looking to set you up. Okay,
Yeah.
so so
Yep.
watch out.
Mark said they might even use it, as a way to get the job.
Exactly.
He also made the comment, nothing like walking on eggshells. They always crack unless you have a bionic egg.
Yeah.
So, did you want to add something else?
No, I'm good now.
Okay, so research shows that being treated with respect is more important to most employees than recognition, appreciation, receiving feedback, and even learning and developmental opportunities. In a global study, respected employees reported 50%, 56% better health and well being, 72 times more trust and safety, 89% more enjoyment and job satisfaction, 92% greater focus and prioritization.
Right.
Respect is so important,
Yep.
to people. It means a lot to people. And if you think about it, it means a lot to you as well. Who wants to be respected? So clearly, being respected as opposed to ignored has a long term impact on us and our career. So, what do you do if you feel like your boss is avoiding you and sidelining your ideas, especially if the shift is sudden? Uh, did I repeat?
Yep.
I did.
Yep. So I think we can go on to number two though.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So don't assume your boss's intent. It is easy to infer harmful intent about why your boss may be acting this way, when in fact it may have nothing to do with you. It could be that their workload has increased or they're facing imminent pressure from their boss and are struggling to cope. Maybe they have limited time and want to get done with things quickly, or maybe they're dealing with a personal crisis. Um, Before you assume the worst, give them the benefit of the doubt and ask yourself, has your boss recently been given a big project when they already have too much to manage? Are they working extremely long hours because their workload is unsustainable? Do they have a new boss who may be challenging to work with? Are they short on resources and shouldering too much responsibility? Or could there be challenges that they might be facing at home? All of these may be very true. It's worth checking to see if others on the team are feeling the same way. Approach a colleague you trust and ask, have you noticed anything different about your boss lately? They seem a little disengaged. If you feel that your boss's workload is a factor, maybe maybe they're always available on Slack or sending emails late into the night. One of the best things you can do is approach your boss and ask them if there is more you can do to help them. They'll appreciate you for checking in. and that alone, just even bosses, appreciate people checking on them. Just because they're the boss don't mean that they don't have feelings and emotions. And sometimes it's just nice to know that someone cares.
Mike, would you put that comment up there, please?
You better be still.
I was referring to the exclusion, the workplace, and the stolen ideas. I had a manager who, I guess in retrospect, she may have felt threatened, but I'm only guessing. There's more, but it's so much. So um, it is hard when people steal your ideas. So one of the things that I started doing is gatekeeping. A word I just learned today what it means. But I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. So you ain't gonna get my ideas because I'm not gonna say nothing. You know. So and that was to keep myself um safe and my ideas safe. Um and I still do that some now, but not for the same reasons because I strongly, and I said this to you recently, but I strongly believe, thanks for sharing that, Danica, but I strongly believe that absolutely everything that I'm supposed to see, I will see. It don't matter how much somebody try to hide it from me or keep it from me, I will see it. And the other way, I believe that no matter what my ideas are, like we educate about bullying, so other people educate about bullying too. But the ideas that I have about bullying, that we have about bullying, and our discussions and all of that are only certain people are going to hear us talk about bullying. They may hear other people talk about it, but it may not. Um, Register to them like it will to us and vice versa. So, they may not hear us, but somebody else say another person educating about bullying say the same thing. And because that's the voice that they're assigned to hear.
Right.
So I don't worry anymore about people stealing my ideas or, you might do the same thing, but you can't do it like I can. And you're not assigned to do it the way that I am. So, excuse me. So I don't worry about stuff like that anymore. I'm like, well, they doing it too. That's fine. Or, maybe they take this little bit, but you still can't make it sound the way that I can. And you still don't have my story. I have my own story, my own experiences, and nobody can take that away.
Right.
So I don't worry anymore about people stealing my ideas. They still do, but it doesn't affect me the same way. And because I know that they can't do it exactly like I'm assigned to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to add something?
Yeah, I actually want to add something. So I feel the same, but also I've had a lot of ideas, like as it pertains to events and music ideas and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Just had an idea stolen from me a few months ago. So what I've decided to do, even if it's like something that the person and I have talked about doing together, from this point on, my goal is to always have an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement that they have to sign
Yeah.
before we even discuss it. Because, I mean, we all have ideas, but these are intellectual property.
Yeah.
So when someone steals that and shoots off to success, it's like, I understand not to take it personal, but it's also just smart to realize, like, yo, my ideas are my own. This is what I've been inspired to do. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say, man, listen, before I even go to my boss, hey, I got an idea, but I need to sign this NDA first.
Yeah.
If you don't sign
Yeah.
this NDA, I'm keeping the idea to myself.
Yeah. So Mark said can't duplicate Stephanie or Jean. They are true originals. Yes, yes. Woo
Thanks,
woo.
sir. As yourself.
You're so silly. Need a video so you can see how you look doing that.
Oh, I saw it. I'll do it again.
So another thing to do is to, before you assume the worst, give them the benefit of doubt and ask yourself. You can flip the lens. So how do you flip the lens? Once you abandon the assumption you hold about your boss's behavior, flip the lens and consider how you would interpret their behavior if you assumed they were doing their best. The assumption of positive intent is only sustainable when people ask themselves this question: what boundaries need to be in place for me to be in my integrity and generous with my assumptions about the intentions, words, and actions of others? And I'll let you do the for example.
All right. So, for example, maybe your boss didn't deliberately ignore your idea, but the way you pitched it wasn't as effective or as clear as the way your colleague did. In your next one-on-one, bring it up and ask. You could say, I want to get better at how I present my ideas during meetings. What would you suggest I do to get better at it? Is there something you'd like me to do differently? Taking this approach doesn't mean you excuse behavior that can be categorized as bullying or intimidating. However, it does help to provide the opportunity for you to look at your boss's actions and consider alternative explanation for them. Excuse me. And again, we're back to initiate a conversation. Communication rule the nation, man. As soon as I got here in Memphis, somebody said that to me in Mobile. I was like, communication rule the nation. You know what? You're right. You're right. But there are times when the best approach is the direct approach. Email messages, for example, are prone to misinterpretation. Yes, Lord, because you can't see the other person, pick up on their social cues, or hear their tone. It's always better to have sensitive conversations in person or on a video phone. I just had a conversation with someone last night.
Yeah.
No, that was Gary. That was Martin Gary. Okay. So hold to your values and integrity, and proactively talk to your boss about their behavior towards you. Next step is, you want to say something?
I was just gonna give a plug.
Yeah. Okay. Plug it up. Plug it up.
So what Gene is talking about is he has another TV show that he's doing with Coach G, Gary
Coach
New,
G, Gary News.
Gary
Coach
Newsom.
G. Coach G. Gotta do what your shoulders now. You
It
gotta
was so
put some
funny when
respect to Coach
Kim did
G.
that. It was so funny when she did that last
Right.
Sunday. So anyway, their show is Unbreakable Souls, and it's Saturdays at 3 p.m. Central Standard
Central
Time.
Standard Time.
And they are two men that are having conversations about. Go ahead, Gene.
Yeah, we so last week we spoke. Oh, I'm sorry. This week we spoke about self-inflicted trauma. We've been tapping into discussing and acknowledging different forms of trauma, and then we give the tools to help you process and heal from those sorts of trauma. So next week is financial trauma. Lord,
Wow.
Lord, that's a deep one right there.
Yeah.
Lord, who doesn't have trauma from growing up without money?
Yeah.
Now you got a what's the term of it? Poverty mindset.
Yep.
So you hoard everything, or when you get money, you spend it.
Yep.
Lord knows I've been there. Get money,
Yeah.
like, hey, I gotta get this and this and this. The next thing you know, pockets are on lint again.
Mark Mark said I get trauma every time I go to the ATM.
Exactly.
He said because I know it is going to laugh at me.
What you here for? You know you ain't got no money.
Right. What can I do for you, sir? How can I help you?
Right. Would you like a paper receipt? Because that's all you got. That's all you got. A receipt. Here you go. Negative 105.
So, okay, what else can you do? You can gather your courage. Stepping into a conversation with someone who you report to takes courage. It takes courage to go to your boss or to someone that is over you, whether it's a supervisor, a lead. Those are stair steps, even to human resource. Sometimes it takes courage. So, did you want to say something?
No. I'm special
Okay.
face.
So your boss has positional power. This is the decision making power and authority they derive from where they sit in the organizational hierarchy. You will want to draw on your inner reserves of strength to have this conversation. When you don't speak up, the power imbalance in the relationship, which already exists because of their authority, gets further out of balance. It's hard to go to your boss sometimes. It's hard to go to your lead. It's hard to go to a person sometimes that's above you. So it takes courage. So you have to do things to encourage yourself. Uh, and I'll come back to that in a minute. When power is more equally distributed, such that everyone feels comfortable to speak up and share ideas, it is easier to challenge assumptions, act collaboratively, and and make more informed and considered decisions. So, how can you um, create courage for yourself? How can you um, get courage to be able to speak up to your boss or to just to have a conversation? Because it's not about just speaking up all the time. You have to speak up to them, when you're being
Right.
disrespected. But to have a conversation, you still sometimes need courage to talk to them. So how can you encourage yourself? Um, so one of the things in ways that I've found to encourage myself is you hear this all the time, but um, or often, but affirmations are very important. And when you're feeling low or you're feeling like you're feeling incapable of doing something or of saying something, when if you constantly tell yourself, I am strong, I can do this, I can talk to my boss, I will talk to my boss, I will have a great conversation with my boss, I will not fear my boss. Um, and I don't like that last one, but stuff like that um, will help you. And if you keep saying those things, the more you say it, the more courage you get. So just saying them once or twice doesn't help. But you are building that courage muscle, when you constantly say things like that. And so before you know it, you'll be like, I'm going to talk to my boss today. And you going to talk to your boss without an attitude, without putting them in their place. You can do that, and you can do it in a peaceful way because you have encouraged yourself. You want to add something to that?
Um, I would say just know that obviously you're a valuable part of the business, or you would have been hired. So know that even within your position, you have power. Take that to the situation where you talk to your boss. Always go into the situation humbly, regardless if you have the higher position or the lower position, it doesn't really matter. But always know that you have the power to. You were obviously powerful enough to get the job, so you have power and you have a say so. So go into the situation with that knowledge, and it's okay to be nervous as long as you're respectful. Nothing. You should have nothing to be afraid of.
Right. So Mark says, some conversations are hard to have. Why did little Miss Blondie get the executive job? She just got hired. Most people are afraid to bring that up.
She got the complexion for the collection of the what is it? How did Paul Mooney say it? She got the complexion for the protection of the collection. There you go. What a waste of white skin.
So it is hard to see people come in and you're in the same position as me, and all of a sudden I've been here for years, and all of a sudden you're getting promoted and now you're bossing me around, or you're the boss of me. So, and I said it that way on purpose. So if you've heard that saying, you know why I said it like that.
Right.
So it's hard to see stuff like that, and it's hard to respect people like that, the people that hired her above you and saying now you're the boss of them.
Right.
And it's also hard when, and that's another piece of conversation that Liddell and I had. I think I said that earlier though, but when people are most people are afraid to bring that. So it's that person that got hired, now they're bossing you. They've lost, I think that was Mark I was having a conversation with. They've lost respect for you. And so now they're being disrespectful to you and making demands on you. And that's hard.
Yeah.
You want to do something not so nice to them because you just got here, first of all, and now you got hired, right. And now you got hired above me, and now you talking to me disrespectfully. Mark also said bosses need to give you respect. And earlier, I can't get to it. Earlier, he said that's a nice song. He said respect is what we all want. Plus, it's a great song.
Come on, Retha. Not Aretha. Come on, Retha.
Oh, Gene, look what time it is. Okay, y'all.
Yeah. Shoot, I was gonna say I want to give one example real quick.
Okay.
So I had a situation similar to that. The very same job I was telling you about. So I worked there for about a year and a half. Again, I have all the experience. I may not have the degree, but I have all of the certifications at that time. All the certifications necessary for me to have that degree.
Yeah.
And experience. So they hired someone right out of college. We were in the same business. She had no experience whatsoever. So they had me train her for about 6 months. And so they were about to put her above me and give her the position they promised me. And guess what happened? 3 months later, she quit on them.
That's what they get. That happened to me too. On a job, working for training for supervisory position, and then somebody else came in and that knew about that position, just not with that company, and so I had to train her. And I ended up losing my job, but I trained her for a few months, and she didn't want people coming to me that were used to coming to me for months before she came. Anyway, she bullied me out of that position. So, that happens, to people. But we are at the end of our show, y'all. And we just appreciate y'all being here. We will continue this conversation next week. So we send you away. We'll be here next week. Same time, same place, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Even though it's Mother's Day, we still plan to do this show. So we send you away with peace, send you away with love. Take care and bye for now.
motivation.